All right, we are back. We're talking about Backlash. First, let's talk about the good. This crowd was absolutely insane.
Oh yeah, this was a hot crowd.
European
crowds are hot. You know, like European crowds, they know how to cheer.
Well, this is what happens when you go into a market that is absolutely starved for wrestling. This is why they do the European tours every year, because it just fills up with so many people. There 11,000 people, the largest gate of any arena show in WWE history.
So I'm willing to bet you, not only are those tickets probably a little bit higher than usual, because people pay a premium to see a live event, especially in a market that has never seen one before.
Yep.
And yeah, this crowd was just fantastic.
There was no low point of this crowd. They were loud for every single match.
Yep.
The chants the entire time that the camera was shaking. They were jumping up and down.
And people get annoyed by it, but it's like, that's how Europeans cheer. That's just how it's done there.
There's a lot of movement with Europeans.
And they do those longer chants. Like, that is what they do.
Yeah, they sing.
Have you ever been to a soccer match or a football match in Europe? They always do that.
Where here, it's kind of up and down.
Right.
So there you go. But every single match as well was quality.
Yes.
Quality. There was there was not really a bad match.
There wasn't. They were good to great.
Yeah, exactly. This match was stellar. It fit the profile to the T. Two Bullet Club leaders at one time, facing against each other.
And the debut of another former Bullet Club member.
Yep, with a Tonga Loa.
Yep.
But yes, every single match was just beyond stellar. I was so stoked about this show. I mean, it was really going to be hard to follow up that really good WrestleMania, and I think they did it in spades.
They did a pretty good job.
With the debut, I was shocked that nobody knew about Tonga Loa.
Yeah.
0 people knew about it. As a debut...
Now, was it a surprise even backstage?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I am not sure, but this is a really good get. I think Michael Cole said it best, that this is a rogue bloodline, and I love that verbiage.
Yes.
It is rogue. They are not going with the tribal chief.
Right.
And they are basically taking Paul Heyman hostage.
Yes.
And you can tell with the body language. It's just great on every fucking level.
That interaction too with Jey Uso backstage was also pretty good. I don't know where it's going to go. I would imagine
they're teasing a couple of things.
Yeah,
they're really starting to get this bloodline thing. It's just new life, and they're adding new people into this thing. And
it makes sense to have these people in this bloodline because of the connections. It's all about those connections.
Yep, and not only that, but these are brand new members. These are not. It's not Jimmy Uso. They kicked out all old bloodline.
Yeah.
Because Solo was anointed by Roman Reigns to be the next tribal chief. And since Roman's not there, somebody has to take the reins, and they're just giving this thing such new legs. It's crazy that they did this. I adore it. It's just so great to see. Absolutely. And I think that was it for positives, because really a lot of the positives were the same.
Yeah.
Now, some of the negatives. Now,
the women's matches were underwhelming, I would say.
The women's tag match was better, I will say.
A little bit, but they were both, I think those were the lowest 2 matches on the card.
Now, there has to be a worse. There has to be a bottom if you're going to have a high. There is no equal anything.
Right.
But they were still good matches.
Yeah.
Nobody looked weak in any match whatsoever. They got their shit in. The only thing that I criticized this match on was the ending.
Yeah, the ending was kind of awkward.
It was a very awkward ending. It sort of put everybody's whoa, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was not a very... The hierarchy of the match itself was kind of weird.
It was, because they're trying to elevate Tiffany Stratton as a star, but how do you do that without the detriment of someone else? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I get that they're trying to do this thing with Tiffany, but...
They didn't want to bury Naomi, and they didn't. And they also did not want to take the title off of Bayley yet, because I think they're moving more into longer title reigns that means something.
Right.
But yeah, the only bad thing about this one was the ending.
Yeah.
For me, anyway. I'm not sure about Peanut Gallery.
Oh, yeah.
But that's why I put it here.
I agree. Yeah, so, and then we talked about tag match as well.
Jade. So
I still feel like Jade's a little too green, in my opinion, for a title.
I'm a bit worried about it.
But I am glad that Jade is being paired with Bianca, because Bianca is a veteran at this point. Like, she knows the style. Jade is still learning. I still think it was a little too early, though.
I agree.
To have her
win a belt.
Yeah.
It was a little too early. I agree with you, and that's why I put it on here.
The only positive I see, though, is that at least it's a tag belt.
Yes, it's a tag belt where she was circled around other extremely experienced veterans that are very good.
And she did have, I mean, again, to her credit, she is new to this, but her performance was the weakest out of all four of them. She was very much
she still looked
propped up.
She still
looked good, but she's still learning that WWE style.
Yeah, that ending sequence just made her look like the biggest badass in the world, and it just works. They are just treating Jade Cargill so well to this point. Now, they had to put a title on her at some point in time. Too much momentum.
Yeah, too much.
But a tag is a good one because not only will it keep Jade in a secure spot while she gets the help,
also keep her momentum up.
But it also elevates the tag champions because now they're on really strong competitors. Not saying that the Kabuki Warriors aren't strong, but between the two teams, one of them has a lot more momentum.
And we obviously know which team that was.
Exactly. So that was kind of why I put it here. Not that it was a bad match. It's just because the Jade Cargill with the title is a bit worrisome. So I put the crowd on here again because, not because I agree with it, is because I do understand it. There were people that were saying that the crowd was annoying. The only thing that I would say that was getting kind of annoying was the chant of simply two. And that's what they were chanting for every fucking pinfall.
There was an explanation as to why, and it is a football tradition when someone barely misses a goal.
Okay.
That is what happens. That is just France. I mean, what more do you want?
That's true. I think because we're just not familiar with France as a audience.
For a lot of people, this is the first time they've ever seen a televised show in France. Now, I am not a regular French football viewer, but I do know a little bit about some of those chants. And yes, that is something that is very common in other sports in France.
Right. And like I said, I'm not saying that I agree with the sentiment, but I understand the sentiment.
I understand it too. But whenever they do something in France like this, you just have to expect that crowd to be like that.
Right. And finally, I put this match on here for this reason.
Yeah.
Damian Priest getting frustrated at the Bloodline is getting strange.
It's kind of weird. I don't know what they're trying to do, because what they're doing is I think that they're making Finn Balor look too weak too quickly.
Yes.
We don't want Finn Balor to get too weak, because we know that inevitably they're going to have a match down the line for this title.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want... I mean, the other thing, too, is that then you have JD McDonough, who is kind of that trickster of the group. I just don't know where Finn Balor fits into the whole equation.
Right.
You have the champion, but he's not the leader.
Well, I think Finn Balor was taking the place for Dominic because Dominic is hurt.
Yes, but we don't want that.
My complaint about this was that they were, if Damian Priest lost the match because of the interference, I can understand his frustration.
Mm-hmm.
But he won.
Right.
And he would have lost without the assistance of them. And he's like, I could have taken care of this on my own. You don't have to come out and help me. And I understand it's like he doesn't want his title reign tarnished, but why go against the group? It's a weird justification to me that does not necessarily make sense.
And I wonder if the reason for this is because of the injuries, that they had to change the plans.
I agree.
Somewhat, which is very understandable. But
yes. I mean, Rhea Ripley is out for a considerable period of time. Dominic, I think, is like out for like 2 months or whatever.
So I think they're just trying to move the Judgment Day storyline forward in their absence, and I just don't know how it's working.
I want Rhea Ripley to at least come back with the Judgment Day intact.
I just don't see that happening.
No, she's going to be out for too long. She's going to be out for like 7 or 8 months or something like that.
I don't think Judgment Day is going to last that long.
Probably
because their time is coming to a close.
Yes. Now all the attention is back on the Bloodline, this new rogue Bloodline.
Yeah.
So that is really it. That's all I had for this. Other than that, the show was a 2 thumbs up. It was stellar. They need to go back to France, and there has been talks on more international markets. There is a lot of countries that are starving for wrestling. They're going to have Bash at Berlin. They're already doing the thing at Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, where else can they go?
The UK, they're going back to the UK. They're going back to Scotland for Clash at the Castle. They're going to be in Canada for Money in the Bank.
Yep.
So we don't know.
I mean, you could speculate on anything. I mean, I could see one in Spain. I could see them. I mean, they're pretty much going to go back to France.
Yeah.
Based on that crowd reaction. They could do another Puerto Rico, but Puerto Rico's kind of weird. It really just depends.
Yeah.
You just need a place big enough to justify having WWE.
Yep.
WWE is such a hot commodity right now. I'm sure countries are scratching and clawing at an opportunity to get them.
And their location in France was fine. Obviously, Paris is a little caught up right now with preparing for other things.
Yes. I think it was the best choice.
Yes, it was.
Given the circumstance.
Yep, it was. It was also a pretty safe choice as well.
Yeah, it really was. So
just kind of test the waters. But anyways, that's all we've got. Next week, what are we doing?
I don't know. I'm not sure if there's a show or anything.
I don't know if there is.
So we will come back on that. Remember, please send me matches. I need to know. Links would be appreciated for those because I am having a struggle finding them. If you enjoyed this video, remember to like, follow, subscribe, leave a rating, comment down below, and as always, be
majestic.